You probably know to lock your doors to keep people from breaking in, but what you may not know is that practically everyone has a key. UK has placed a number of these fountains around the Student Center that will refill any water bottle within a matter of seconds. At this machine alone, they've already eliminated waste from more than 25,000 plastic bottles. One happened here on the corner of East Maxwell and Woodland. The other was on Nicholasville Road. Not one, however, has had anything to do with a vehicle. There is now an additional tab for the initiative right on the governor's website. By clicking on it, you can find military events and volunteer opportunities across the state. We're here at the University of Kentucky, where ESPNU is covering the women's soccer team playing the Georgia Bulldogs. Also helping out with today's broadcast are 11 of my classmates. Join me for an all-access look at their day. With elections behind him, Governor Beshear is now facing a new challenge as he heads into his second term. He now has only 8 months to cut $189 million of spending to meet a legislative mandate. The House and Senate budget committees have suggested the governor make cuts from the state's recurring spending to not only reach this requirement, but also to offset an expected $337 million deficit in next year's budget.
Things like contracts, special contracts, personal service contracts, those types of things, where we could see some recurring cuts that would minimize the effect on what we thought would be a deficit in this budget.
So what does this mean? Beshear's hopes.
As governor, my #1 priority throughout these tough times has been jobs.
That's why I'm working to create jobs.
Public safety and job creation.
Could be easier said than done.
Jobs in the private sector would be cut.
While state revenues are expected to increase, the loss of federal stimulus money puts Kentucky in a tough spot economically. The grim outlook for next year's budget also means teachers and state workers could go yet another year without raises. The budget committees will meet later this month to discuss where cuts have been and will be made. Leeper says rather than further divide political parties, he hopes the tough economic times will lead to more compromise.
I think there's an attitude currently to try to get together and work together, and oftentimes when things are more difficult, people tend to do that. Yet to be seen. Legislature is still a political animal.
For UK Student News Network, I'm Kristina Belcher. It takes strength, endurance, skill, and a lot of practice. But some still argue that dance does not deserve to be called a sport.
Dance is definitely a sport.
The 40 members of UK's dance ensemble are out to prove the skeptics wrong. Practicing for multiple hours every week, they say dance actually takes more than other athletes would ever be able to deliver.
I mean, I think it takes more than just flexibility and endurance to be a dancer. You have to be mentally prepared to do the work, and you have to be committed to the movement and be able to be emotional while you dance as well.
Dr. Rayma Beal founded UK's dance ensemble more than 20 years ago. Since then, she has made it her mission to give meaning to their performances.
We're trying to say something through what we do and what we choreograph. We want people to laugh sometimes. We want people to question. We want people to think. We want people to ponder some of the questions that the choreographers have brought into their own choreography.
Under Beal's guidance, the group has more than tripled and hosts 2 concerts every year. But even so, members say they aren't finished yet. They hope to one day earn the same respect given to athletes of, quote, easier sports. For UK Student News Network, I'm Kristina Belcher.
It's just an asset that we have. And being who we are in Lexington, Kentucky, the horse capital of the world, we need a place like Keeneland.
Alice Headley Chandler was there when it all began. On October 15, 1936, Keeneland celebrated its first day of live racing. Chandler was there with her father, Hal Price Headley, who founded Keeneland along with Major Louis Beard, bringing horse racing back to the bluegrass. Now, 75 years later, Headley's visions live on at the racetrack that has become a staple in Kentucky tradition.
I think that he just felt that in this town and in this area and doing what we do, which is raise the best racehorses in the world, there should be a place to show them off. And that's what he did.
Heading into this year's fall meet, Keeneland officials want to pay tribute to those who have stood by the racetrack over the years.
One of the things about this 75th is we want to make sure it's not just about us, but it's about the fans, it's about the horses, it's about the trainers, the jockeys, and the people who made Keeneland what it is.
Baylog says as Keeneland heads into the future, they hope to continue the tradition that has held strong since the beginning. For UK Student News Network, I'm Kristina Belcher.